Okay, so again, this is an informal presentation. It's going to be down to earth, no fancy webinar with fancy slides, just me talking and whiteboarding. That's all it's going to be. So I'm excited about this. This has been something that's been an idea for a long time and then in the works for a while. So I'm super excited to be here to do this presentation with you guys. I've had some of you guys message me through my emails asking me what this is about. So if you're here now, then you'll see exactly what it's about. Okay, so who is this for? This can mainly help coaches, consultants, and service providers. If you're one of those, then great. If you're not one of those, it can still be beneficial, but it's mainly beneficial for coaches, consultants, and service providers. So what if there was a way, as a coach, consultant, or service provider, what if there was a way to eliminate your competition in the eyes of your target market? So your target market is looking at you and 1,000 other coaches. They're going to eliminate everyone else and just focus on you. What if there is a way to not have to build out this massive, complicated funnel and tech setup, in order to bring some new clients into your business? What if there was a new way to have clients come to you instead of you constantly bugging them, trying to go to them? And what if there was a way for you to quickly establish expert authority and build credibility within your niche in as little as 15 to 20 minutes? And what if there was a way for you to be able to borrow somebody else's audience that has worked hard a long time to build their audience? What if there was a way for you to simply go over there and borrow it to the benefit of your business? Well, if you're not interested in those things, you can leave right now, because this presentation is not going to be a benefit to you. It really won't. But if you are interested in those things, then keep watching, because that's exactly what I'm going to show you guys today. And I'm going to show you the answers to those questions and exactly how coaches, consultants, and service providers can actually do those exact things for their own business. So the simplest and most effective way to grow an audience is to borrow someone else's. Sure, you can go and try and build an audience on your own. You can blog, and you can do Skype, and you can do article writing and have the clients come to you and audience come to you. Sure, you can do that, but that takes time, it takes effort, and it's not easy to do. So if someone else does their work for you, if someone else has put the time, resources, and effort to build their audience, you can just walk over and just borrow it. That's the simplest, quickest, most effective way to build an audience, a hot audience. Now, I don't want to insult your intelligence, okay? But you guys know that in order to have a successful business, or in order to hit 5- and 6-figure months, you need to get your offer in front of a targeted audience. So sales, okay, is nothing more, literally, than getting your offer in front of a targeted audience. That's really what sales boils down to, really. So it's really nothing more than that. Getting your offer, getting yourself, getting your service, getting your consulting, whatever it is, getting that in front of a targeted audience is what generates sales. You can literally have a money producing machine, something that just spits out money. It's amazing. It's the best invention in the world. Anyone that comes in is going to be multi-millionaire. If you have this awesome product that can do that, but if you don't take that offer and get it from an audience, if it's just sitting in the back of the room, you're not going to make any sales. You can literally have the best product in the world, proven, but if no one sees it or no one knows about it, you're going to have zero sales, even with the best product in the world. So you have to take that product, take your offer, and get it in front of an audience. The more targeted, the better. If it's not the right audience, if I'm taking this coaching package, I'm approaching nurses, that have nothing to do with coaching and stuff, I'm probably not going to get very many sales. But if I'm taking the same product to the right audience, I'm probably going to get some sales. But literally, sales is generated no more than getting your offer in front of a target audience. And there's two ways to do that. There's two ways to get your offer in front of a target audience. Okay. And you already know this. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. You already know this. You agree with me. That's how you make sales. So there's paid versus organic. Okay. So paid is like Facebook, Google, YouTube, Instagram. You're actually paying these tech companies to literally take your product and put it in front of an audience. That's literally all it is. when you go and the most common one is Facebook. When you go and you pay Facebook thousands of dollars, they don't guarantee you any sales. They don't guarantee you any conversions. They don't guarantee you anything. All they're guaranteeing you, all you're paying them for is to take your offer and put it in front of an audience. That's all it is. That's all you're paying Facebook to do, is to take your offer and put it in front of an audience. But guess what? That audience is cold audience. So the audience in Facebook that sees your offer, the majority of them, they're not going to know who you are. They're not going to know what you sell. They're not going to know anything about you. They're not going to know your backstory. They're not going to know they can trust you. All they're going to see is an ad, and that's it. They're going to see an ad about your company, and that's it. But that's all you're paying Facebook to do, is to take your offer and put it in front of a cold targeted audience. However, there's more to it. But in order to succeed, you have to have, depending on what your foundation is, you have to have everything perfect. Now, I've done lots of Facebook advertising. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on all the gurus' courses, like all the, think right now, what are 4 Facebook courses you could think of from these gurus? I can think of the top of my head right now. I've bought in those, okay? I've bought in those courses. I've invested in their coaching programs. I've done Facebook advertising. I know exactly how it works. I still do it to an extent. So I'm not telling you that it's bad, because I've done it. I know about it. I know how it works. There's a lot that they're not telling you, okay? You can't just take your offer from a target audience and that's it. With Facebook. So you have to have, if you're doing a webinar, you have to have everything has to be perfect. Has to be. You have to have the perfect funnel, the perfect webinar, the perfect copy, the perfect ad. Are you doing a VSL? Are you doing a static image? Are you doing a slideshow? Are you doing a carousel? You have to have the perfect tech setup. You have to have the perfect automations, perfect webinar funnel. So everything has to be perfect in order for you to succeed with Facebook. It really does. You're going to just drain your money with no success if one thing is off. So imagine this. Imagine this is how Facebook works. This right here is like chain links, okay? This is chain links. And this right here, oops, if you can read my chicken scratch, this is sales, okay? This is your product / offer, okay? So your product offer, in order to get to a sale, has to go through every one of these chain links. This right here, just to say this is your copy, okay? If you know what copy is like the writing, the verbiage you use, how it's said in the right way. This is your copy. This is your ad, okay? This is your VSL. This is your tech. This is your funnel, okay? This is your automations. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it that you don't really know until you start doing it. And if one of these chain links are off, just one, the entire thing falls apart. Literally, nothing is going to work if one thing is off. Now, I've actually spent over $1,000 on testing one thing before, and testing for a webinar funnel. When I found out that the tech setup I did for my webinar funnel was off, and I spent over $1,000 driving traffic, and everything was fine. All these chain links were fine, and I didn't know until after. But my automated webinar funnel, it wasn't working. People were clicking on it, and it was a blank screen. I didn't know. I didn't know until after the fact. After I spent over $1,000, I didn't know until after the fact. Now, this happens to a lot of people. Everything has to be perfect in order for this to work. But in reality, what are you paying for? You're not paying Facebook for any of this. This is on you. Getting everything perfect is on you. You're only paying Facebook. Facebook is still going to make lots of money if all these chain links are off and they're not working. They're still going to make lots of money off of you. Why? Because the only thing you're paying Facebook for is to get what? Your offer or product, okay, in front of a targeted audience. That's all you're paying them for. Everything else is on you. And there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that can that can easily be messed up. But you know what the thing is? When it comes to coaches, consultants, and service providers, what's interesting, and myself included for a long time before I found out this new strategy, what's interesting is 99, literally 0.9% of coaches, consultants, and service providers are doing exactly what I just showed you. It's like the only path. Everyone is doing the exact same thing. They're paying all this money, trying to build all this fancy stuff, all the right image and the right video, and they hire a recording studio and do a webinar. The webinar is off. They got to tweak it and revise it and do it again and try it again. And the text off, the automation's off, the funnel isn't working, the software, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But everyone's doing that. Everyone, literally, you buy a course on how to grow your business. They're going to say, all right, do this, build a foundation, and then put all your money in Facebook ads. All right, you go to the next course. All right, build a foundation, and then put all your money in Facebook ads. Now, Facebook ads can work. I'm not telling you it doesn't work. I'm just telling you that it's hard to do. 99.9% of coaches are doing this. They're doing the exact same strategy. Literally, they're paying the exact same strategy. But you know what it is excuse me, Facebook, just say there's 50,000 coaches, okay, coaches in your niche. Okay, just say you're a fitness coach. I'm just making this up. You're a fitness coach, and there's 50,000 coaches in your niche right now around the area that you live. Could be more, could be less. I'm just making a number up. So what's going to happen is this, is what Facebook is going to do is they're going to take your ad, okay, let's say this is your ad, someone working out, okay, Facebook ad. They're going to show your ad to all these people, okay? Just say this is a row of people, okay? Oops, sorry about that. That's my alarm. They're going to show your ad to all these people, okay? You're paying Facebook for this. What are you paying Facebook for? Remember, what are you paying for? To get your offer in front of a target audience. And that's exactly what's happening. But what Facebook doesn't really tell you, what they don't really tell you, is there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of other coaches that are in the exact same fitness niche. Now I'm just using fitness as an example, but whatever niche you're in, it's the same thing. The exact same fitness niche, and they have similar ads going what? To the exact same audience. Okay, and here's another coach right here with their ad. Well, guess what? Who's it going to? The same audience. It's insane. And here, guess what? Here's another coach right here. Okay, here's another coach. You guys all have the same fitness product. It's a little different, but you know, and who are their ads going to? The same audience. Everyone's paying Facebook to pretty much show the same ad to the same audience. Do you know what I call this? I call this the digital Hunger Games. Because that's exactly what it is. Who's going to survive? I'll tell you who's going to survive. If it was so easy, then why isn't every single coach out there? Why isn't every consultant? Why isn't every service provider or business owner successful? If it was so easy, because it's not easy. Everyone does this strategy, including myself. Okay, but it's not easy to do. If it was, then everyone you see on every coach, consultant, service provider would be successful. They have lots of money, but they don't because this strategy isn't easy. But everyone's doing it. So sure, it does work, but it's only going to work for those who have enough money to spend. Now, in my experience, you probably need around a $10,000 marketing budget to start off. Some people have that, and that's fine. Okay, if you have anything less than 10,000, you're going to struggle in the optimization and testing phase because there's a lot of testing in the beginning. There's a lot of optimization in the beginning. Matter of fact, the company that I help and do some consulting for, the company right now just paid $8,000 to a Facebook ads company for the first month. Every month after that, I think it's like $5,000 every month or $6,000. Right now it's like month 5 or month 6. The first month was $8,000. Every month after that was between $5,000 and $6,000, and they're paying the Facebook ads company, an agency to do their ads. Okay, and that pays for their advertising and their management fees. They probably dropped between $20,000 and $30,000 already, easily. Okay, but guess what? They have the money to do it, so it's okay, and it can work. Okay, if you have the money to do it, but you have to have money, and you have to have what? Perfect everything. So if you have all the money in the world, if you have a reserve fund, then it can be good. If you have a perfect everything, if you have basically You have to have the perfect ad, the perfect funnel, the perfect tech setup, the perfect webinar, the perfect VSL, the perfect image, the perfect everything. If you have all of this in line, then sure, it's a good strategy. All the big, if you look right now, there's a lot of people who are successful and absolutely killing it on Facebook ads, on YouTube ads. They're killing it. But guess what? Those are probably coaches that are trying to get you to come in their system. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And they have a lot of money in reserve, probably a lot of money in their accounts. You know, they probably have people on their team specifically that does nothing more than just this. You know, it's called a Facebook ad buyer or a media buyer. They probably have media buyers on their team that their full-time job is to do their ads. And so they do all this themselves. Okay, but if you're a one-man show, a two-man show, a three-man show, you may not have a team to do all this for you. Everything I just showed you, that chain link that I showed you before this, that's all on you. One thing messes up and the whole thing goes down the drain. So sure, it does work. I'm not hating on paid advertising. It works, but the caveat that you don't really hear, it works if you have the money and if you already have a perfect system, or if someone can give you a perfect system. But even that's not easy because it takes them time to learn your system, your ads. Like I said, the company I'm doing some consulting for right now, they paid an agency $8,000 the first month, and it's like around $5,000 to $6,000 every month after. And because it takes the agency time to figure it out. So I'm not hating on it. I'm just telling you the reality. And like I said, it's the digital Hunger Games. That's what I call it, the digital Hunger Games. The majority will fail. There's too much competition, too many variables. It's too hard. The code is too hard to crack unless you have lots of money or you hire a really, really, really expensive done for you option. You know, it could be another company I do consulting for as well. They just paid $170,000 last March or April, I believe, April or May last year, or this year actually, earlier this year. They paid $170,000 for a done for you option. Now this person is massive. This guy is going to set everything up for them. But unless you have $170,000, then I mean it's not doable. But they literally wrote a check. Actually, it was $150,000. But before that, getting that point, they paid $15,000 for a training day. So it was $165,000 actually. They paid $165,000, wrote a check for a done for you option, and someone's doing all this for them. So, but lots of people don't have that option. Okay, they don't have $165,000 laying around to do this. So what do you do? What do you do if the digital Hunger Games isn't the way to go? And that's why I'm so excited for this today, because I'm just like, this is so awesome. And I'm seeing the results that people are getting with the system I'm about to show you, and it's just so exciting. So you build out the organic sales system we use for every client, okay? So what is the organic sales system? Well, let me tell you a story. If you guys have heard of a guy, I hope you have, you guys have probably heard of a guy named Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson, if you haven't heard of him, he's big in a certain space. He's really big in the marketing space, business space, entrepreneur. He's massive. He's a best-selling author, I believe 2-time or maybe even 3-time now. I don't know. He has multiple books. I know at least one of them is best-selling. I think 2 or 3 of them are also best-selling. He's a best-selling author. He is the founder and creator of the software called ClickFunnels. It's like a website funnel platform. I use it myself. It's great. He's one of the founders of that. He wrote the perfect webinar. So he's I think the story was he invested in like 8 different coaches, paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, went to all their stuff on public speaking and webinars. He took all of their main points and formed his own webinar, you know, and he has a science to it, how to do the perfect webinar. And he used that same format, and he holds the world record right now currently for the most sales sold on stage. And it was at Grant Cardone's 10X conference 2 years ago. If I remember the story correct, I think he sold like around $3 million in less than an hour on stage, just like that, using his perfect webinar system. He's almost a billionaire. His valuation, I believe his recent podcast I was listening to, his software ClickFunnels is almost valued at 100 million. And you typically 10x you 10x the revenue. So once they hit 100 million in revenue, they'll be valued at about $1 billion. So I'm telling you this for a reason, because Russell Brunson, best-selling author, he has a massive audience. He has a big audience. Okay. But what did I tell you that you need to be successful with to run paid advertising? You need to have what? Lots of money. And Russell Brunson has lots of money. And you need to have the perfect setup, perfect ad, perfect funnel, perfect copy, perfect webinar, perfect everything for it to work. Russell Brunson has all that. He's like the creator of literally of that. So having said that, He has everything in place. He has the money, he has the ads, he has the webinar. He recently launched a book, his new book called Traffic Secrets last March or April, May-ish sometime. You want to know what one of the main strategies he used to launch his book? Now, sure, I think he did some ads, but you want to know what was one of the main strategies he used? He borrowed someone else's audience. Borrowed someone else's audience. Now, he had everything. He had all the money in the world, all the systems in the world to go to Facebook and have Facebook take his product and put it in front of an audience. Remember, we know that for those who are late, we already went over this. When you do paid advertising, you're literally paying for nothing more for Facebook or YouTube or Google to take your product and or service and you put it in front of a targeted audience. That's all you're paying for. You get your product in front of a targeted audience. That's how you generate sales. It's as easy as that. So he borrowed someone else's audience when he was launching his new book. Now, why would he do that? This guy's one of the most smartest and most brilliant marketers in the world, but yet one of his main driving strategies was doing this. And for his new book, he did this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I listened to one of his podcasts and he was like, oh my gosh, I just did like 9 straight hours of recording today for my new book. It's crazy, but the recording was him borrowing someone else's audience. So he did that through podcast guesting. And this is how it works. It's unbelievable. I love it. And he still does it today. Like literally today, he still does it. He still goes and he gets on other people's podcasts. Now, why would he do that? If he has all the money to pay for advertising, he has the perfect system to work on paid advertising, why would he go and just change things up in order to do that? Because it's a brilliant strategy that's killing it right now. Literally, right now, it's a brilliant. It's always been a brilliant strategy, but it's crazy. So this is how it works. Let's just say, right here, I'll call this guy. He's a podcaster. A podcaster is someone who has a podcast show. Okay. I'm just making this up as we go. Let's just say, there's about 1 million podcasts worldwide. No one knows the exact number. Some data says there's like 900,000. I saw that another thing said there's 1.5 million shows, but a lot of things I've read, there's about 1 million shows worldwide, which means the opportunities are just infinite. It's endless. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to run out of podcast opportunities to borrow someone else's audience. So this is how it works. So this is a podcaster, okay? Let's just say podcaster. Let's just say he has a show on, again, I'll use marketing, okay? He has a show on, I'll say entrepreneurship. He has a show on entrepreneurship, okay? Now, this podcaster, let's just say once a week, will do a 1-hour show to his audience. Okay, 1-hour show once a week on entrepreneurship. What he's going to do, or she, what they're going to do is they're going to pay, literally, they're going to advertise and they're going to pay money. Most of the time to Facebook or YouTube, to Facebook. Why are they going to advertise and pay money to Facebook? Because they're going to build an audience. They want Facebook to send people and sign up for their podcast. So now they're going to advertise, okay? They're going to invest money into it and build the audience. They're going to take the time and actually do the research for the show. They're going to take the time and do all the editing for the show, because typically they record it, they edit it, put music into it, it's all fancy, schmancy. They're going to take the time to upload the show to all social channels. You know, they have like, if you want to put it on Stitcher and iTunes and all the social media. They're going to go and they're going to find guests to be on the show for their audience. Now, this right here, though, let's just say, all podcasts are different sizes, okay? Let's just say this one right here. Actually, just last night, you guys can't see my phone. Maybe you can see my phone. I don't know. Let's find out. Let me just show you guys an actual picture, okay? I actually posted this on my Instagram last night. If you guys can see this or not. Like I said, this is a Zoom recording. It's informal. I'm here. You can see my face. You can see me mess up. You can see me stutter, whatever. This isn't some fancy webinar right now. I want you guys to get a real feel of who I am and what this is about. I don't know if you can read this or not. the red circle. If you can't, this is a podcast I just booked last night. 70,000 business owners on this podcast in 114 countries, right there. And so when I was signing up for the podcast to be a guest on their show, to borrow their audience, 71,000, okay, and in 114 countries. Now let's just use this as an example. Let's just say that this podcaster is this right here. I guarantee you, this podcaster probably spent the last 5-6 years, and so they put time. This is a 5-6 years of their time building this massive audience. Okay, this right here are people. Okay, all over the world in 114 countries, all over the world, 170,000 people, 70,000 people. Okay, making this up. 70,000 people worldwide, 114 countries, stop their lives. How busy it is. They stop their lives. They put their life on hold. They show up to his show, his or her show, once a week for an hour about entrepreneurship. Literally, they're stopping their lives. They're relaxing, whether they're driving in the car, they're laying down, whatever it is. But they're putting everything on hold to go on to listen to this person's show for an hour out of their week. Now, sometimes these podcasts do an hour a day. Sometimes they do 2 shows a week. It depends. But they're stopping and dedicating their time for this show because they want value out of it. I listen to podcasts all the time. And why? Because I want value out of it. So all of these, if the show is about entrepreneurship, I guarantee you all these people, these 71,000 people listening to this show about entrepreneurship, they're all business owners because they all want to know about more. They all want to learn. They want to know more about entrepreneurship. They want to know how it works and ideas and get value out of it. That's how it works. So guess what? Guess what Russell Brunson did for his book? You know what he did? Russell Brunson is over here. Hope you guys can still see that. Russell Brunson's over here launching his new book. Hey guys, what's up? Okay, launching his new book. Instead of him, now how much would it cost? You do comparison. How much would it cost Russell Brunson to get his book, if he's paying Facebook, to get his book in front of 71,000 business owners in 114 countries? Now, how much would that cost him for Facebook to put his 1 hour presentation on his book? So just say Russell Brunson did a recording. It's an hour long about his book and him, who he is and how great it is and how much value. And he recorded this and Facebook put this 1 hour video on Facebook, and they didn't just show it to 71,000 people. They made sure 71,000 people watched the entire thing. That would be that probably cost them over $100,000 to actually get the video views, to actually having people sit there for an hour and watch the whole thing. That would be so much money. But what did he do? He walked over to this podcaster and was like, hey, maybe a guest on your show. I'm launching my new book. I can add value. I can add value to your audience about entrepreneurship. This is who I am. And the person's like, oh, sweet, because they want guests on their show. They're like, oh, sweet. All right, come on. So now Russell Brunson went to his show, sat there for an hour, chit-chatted about entrepreneurship, while 71,000 people were listening for an entire hour. And what do you think happened at the end of the show? Every time, at the end of the show, it's always like a trade-off. The person comes on their show. At the end of the show, they give value, they talk, they chit-chat. At the end, the podcaster will tell his whole audience, that he spent 5 to 6 years building. He's probably spent thousands and thousands of dollars building this 71,000 person audience. It's not free. They put money into it. They advertised for it. They built it up. They did all the work. And Russell Brunson just walks over and says, hey, what's up? Let's chat to your audience for an hour. I'll give value about entrepreneurship. At the end, the podcaster says, hey, everyone, go follow Russell Brunson or go to this place to find out more about him. And what do you think is going to happen after the 71,000 business owners stopping their lives, taking an hour out of their lives, listening to the show, Russell Brunson blowing them away with value? What's going to happen when the podcaster tells them, go over there and start following him? This is where you can find him. You're going to have thousands of people just like that just watched him for an hour go and start following him and buying his material. That's why he did that over and over and over and over again. when he launched his new book. Now, is Russell Brunson the only person in the world that figured out this like crazy strategy that works? No. Do you know who else does it? And do you know what the best thing about this is? When you do paid traffic, I'm going to erase this now. When you do paid traffic, okay? All right. When you do paid traffic, literally, let's repeat this again. You guys already know this. I repeat this in the beginning, but generating sales comes from literally nothing more than getting, remember, what is it? Getting your offer or service, okay, in front of a targeted audience. Okay, so again, we've already repeated that like 3 times now. What do you pay Facebook for? Facebook will take your offer and put it in front of an audience. That's it. That's all they'll do for you. They're not doing anything more. Okay, what do you pay YouTube for? YouTube, same thing. Okay, now, do you know how much it costs Russell Brunson to get on that podcast, to spend an hour with the podcaster and educate his 71,000 business owners that literally are listening to every word he's saying for an entire hour? Do you know how much it cost him? Free. It's free to do this strategy. You just got to think smarter, okay? You can literally do what would cost you probably over $100,000 to do on Facebook, to have 71,000 business owners, your target audience, sit there and listen to a full hour recording of you. That would cost you a lot of money, okay? And he did that for free. And he didn't have to do anything, nothing. He'd have to find the audience. And guess what? The audience is what? It is hot. This ain't no cold audience, okay? This ain't no when someone sees your Facebook ad, they click on it, they have no idea who you are, what you offer, they click on it. You literally have like 3 seconds to like catch their attention and get them to start following your stuff. It's so hard to do. Now, are people doing it? Yeah, they are doing it. Like I explained to you earlier, got to have the money, you got to know the system. Either it takes years to figure it out or you buy it from someone else, but it doesn't cost you a lot. Now, who else does this strategy? Does anyone else do this strategy? Of course they do. Dan Henry. You guys haven't heard of Dan Henry? I love Dan Henry. He's great. I bought his original marketing course way back in the day. I got another course of his. I just bought another course of his just 2 weeks ago. I bought his book. He's the #1 best-selling author. He's a multi-millionaire. He's been on TV all over. He's a business coach and he's great. Okay. Dan, what does Dan do? You know, in my slides, I actually have like a different presentation. I actually have screenshots of Dan asking people, hey guys, how do I get on podcast? This is probably from like 3 months ago. Even Dan is trying to figure out how he can go and get on podcast. And guess what? Dan has an entire course, a high-level course on how to do Facebook ads. He does. He has an entire course on how to do Facebook ads. He teaches it. I bought it. I went through it. Okay. But yet he still wants to go and get on podcasts. He wants to do what Russell Brunson just did. Why? Because he knows that there's he knows like, why am I going to have to pay Facebook hundreds of thousands of dollars to guarantee that my target audience watches my videos for a full hour when I can just go and borrow it from someone else who already did the work for me? They already paid the money to Facebook to build an audience. They already have an audience that's so engaged. Why don't I just tap into that and just borrow their audience in a few minutes? So Dan Henry, he has a story not long ago, probably the last couple of months, that he went on someone else's podcast, okay? And he was a guest on it. I don't know how long, maybe like 30 minutes to an hour. He was a guest on the podcast. And this podcaster, it was the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, I think his name is. He was on his podcast. Do you know how much he walked away with from that one podcast? Now, I don't remember if it was a 30-minute podcast or an hour. It's different. Every show is different. There's shows that I've been on that have been as little as 7 minutes or 8 minutes. I think 7 or 8 minutes long, 7 or 8 minutes short. There's been podcasts I've been on for an hour. There's been podcasts I've been on for 30 minutes. It's all different. Every show is different. I would say the average would be about 30 minutes. Let's just say this podcast is 30 minutes. So Dan Henry went on this podcast and walked away making $100,000. He made $100,000 off one podcast. And guess what? How much did it cost him in marketing fees to be able to, how much did he pay Facebook to make that $100,000 back? Zero. He paid $0 on this marketing campaign, 0 cents on this marketing campaign, and made $100,000. So who else uses this strategy? You guys heard of Mike Dillard? The famous, I love Mike Dillard. He's great. He's a huge world-renowned business coach. He's fantastic. Mike Dillard is always getting on what? Other people's podcasts. Why? Because he knows it's really easy to go and borrow someone else's targeted audience. If someone's going to pay Facebook and YouTube thousands of dollars and dedicate time and building this massive targeted audience on a specific subject, and the audience takes time out of their week and their day to go and learn about the subject, you can just walk over and just go on the show and be a guest and be like, hey, what's up, guys? And a lot of those people are going to follow you. You didn't have to pay Facebook, you have to pay YouTube, you didn't have to do anything. You have to build out a funnel, you have to build out tech and do setup, automations, you have to do any of that stuff, okay? You just simply walked over, you're a guest on their show, and you walked away. And guess what? A lot of them are going to start following you, and a lot of them are going to end up buying from you. Mike Dillard. Who else? Andrew Crow. Andrew Crow he's a millionaire mentor. Okay, he does it all the time. He's on podcasts. I actually have a screenshot. I have another presentation. I have a screenshot of him too, asking, "Hey guys, how do I get on big podcasts?" Who else does it? Guys, ever heard of Guy Kawasaki? He's huge. If you haven't heard of him, then I don't know what rock you live under, just messing around. But Guy Kawasaki, I don't know how many books he's written and how much money he's worth. He's on podcasts all the time, other people's podcasts. Okay, now these people are busy, a lot busier than I am, a lot busier than probably all of us combined. These people are like the most like successful like marketers in the world, and they're busy. It wouldn't make sense for them financially to take an hour out of their day to go be a guest on someone else's podcast just for fun, unless it made sense financially. You guys are all about making money. Unless it made sense financially to them for them to do that, they wouldn't do it. But guess what? It does make sense financially because they know that they have two choices. They can either take their product and pay Facebook 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 grand to run traffic to their product, or they can take that same product and go and be a guest on a podcast for free, not pay anything, and have 10 times the results. Because guess what? This is cold traffic over here to Facebook, and this is hot traffic over here with the podcasting. It's the exact same thing. You're taking your product and you're putting it in front of a targeted audience. The difference is you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay anything over here. Okay, and this is hot. This is cold. All right. Who else does this? Gary. You guys heard of Gary V? Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary V. He's guests all the time on podcasts. No, the list can go on. Literally, the list can go on for a long time. Okay, there's a lot of people who are doing this. Who else does this? Me. I've been doing this for years. And I actually came across it by accident. Okay, wasn't maybe a few years ago. It was by accident where I have a cold email course, separate. It's nothing to do with what we're watching right now. But I have a separate course on it. And in this course, I'm always trying to like push the limits on cold email. Cold email is when you send an email out to like a random person, okay? I'm always trying to learn more and do more with it. So one time I'm like, what else can I do with cold email? And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can try and get on a podcast with it. I don't know anything about podcasting, but let me just try and do it. So I sent an email out for a podcast, and guess what? I was a guest on a show. And I sent out for another one. Guess what? I was a guest on a show. And I sent out for another one. I was a guest on a show. I was a guest on a bunch of shows. And I wasn't really doing it for the results it was going to give me because I didn't know. I was just doing it more to try and test to see if my email campaigns and my email templates were working, because I have a course. So I'm going to take these same campaigns and templates and give them to my students. And they have it in my course. My students have access to a whole bunch of campaigns and templates that are already proven. That's the only reason why I was doing it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I was doing zero paid traffic for my course, for my funnel. And all of a sudden, looking at my funnel, I'm like, what the heck? How do I have 3,000 people visit my website in the last 30 days? I haven't done any paid traffic, none. What the heck? How do I have, 300 people go to my funnel just yesterday alone? Like, what did I do yesterday? I didn't do anything, but yesterday, I figured it out. I'm like, yesterday the podcaster launched the podcast from that. I'm like, what the heck? Did that really generate traffic to this? And so I started looking more into it, researching more, and sure enough, I've made a lot of money, and I've got a lot of people from doing this exact same strategy. But I stumbled across it by accident Now, these people I showed you, Russell Brunson, Dan Henry, Mike Dillard, they didn't stumble across it by accident. They're doing it because they're brilliant and they're smart and they're making a lot of money in a very smart way. I found it by accident, okay? Getting your offer, now we're almost done, okay? Getting your offer, okay, or service, okay, in front of a targeted audience. Again, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but you guys know that's the formula for making sales, taking your offer or service and putting it in front of a target audience. This just got a lot easier. Literally, it got a lot easier and it got a lot more inexpensive. Okay. Now we're almost to the end here, but I hope you guys are learning. I hope this is a mind shift. I'm so excited for this. I have a few more presentations I'm going to give of this to some groups as well. And again, I've had a lot of people that I messed up on the Zoom, sending out these emails for the Zoom. I messed up because I had probably between 10 and 15 people that, or even more, that were clicking on it. I don't think I sent the wrong link at the wrong time, but they're trying to click on at a different time. I don't know what happened, but I'm so excited though for this opportunity, or this, I kind of put together. But don't worry. I know what you're thinking though. At this point, you're probably thinking, yeah, Ryan, but that's Russell Brunson, that's Andrew Crave, that's Gary Vee, that's Dan Henry. All podcasters want them on the show. I'm just a nobody. I make 50 grand a year, or I only make 250 grand a year. I only make $100,000 a year. I'm just a nobody. I'm not making $10 million a year like they are. That's okay. Okay. That's okay. There's about 1 million podcasts worldwide. Do you think Dan Henry and Russell Brunson are going to get on every single one of those? No, that is impossible. It's okay that you're just a nobody. I'm just a nobody. I'm not some big shot, humongous, like I make $1 million, $10,000 million, gazillion dollars a year. No, I'm a nobody too. But guess what? I have a system that works and gets results. And I've simplified the process so well that anyone can do it. So I have 2 questions to ask you. Here's the test. Are you a coach, service provider, okay, or consultant? And you can just be a business owner too. That'll work as well. Are you one of those? Yes or no? If you are, then okay, so far you're good. Okay. Can you have a really good chat with someone for 30 minutes about your product? If you're a coach, can you chat with someone about your product and how good it is and your service and add value? If you're a service provider, okay, let's just say that you provide I don't know, just say you're a real estate guy and you have a real estate course. I don't know. Can you chat? And you have certain strategies. Can you chat with someone for 30 minutes about these in-depth strategies and just give value? If you've answered yes to these questions, that 1, you're one of these, and 2, you can have a simple chat with someone and give value, then you're absolutely qualified to get on a podcast. Trust me, you're absolutely more than qualified to get on a podcast. You may think, well, how would I do that? It doesn't matter. There's a way to make you look like a rock star, to present it in front of these people, to get you on lots of podcasts. You're also probably thinking, wow, okay, Ryan, if I did get on a podcast, it sounds kind of scary. I don't like talking in front of people. You may or may not. I don't know. I like talking in front of people. It sounds kind of hard. What am I going to do? What if I mess up? Don't worry. The podcaster, okay, I already showed you guys this. The podcaster, they have one goal. When they invite guests, my chicken scratch. When they invite guests like you or myself onto their show, they have one goal for the guests. They want to make you look like a rock star. Why? Because they have a massive audience. Okay, they have a really big audience. Now, every podcast size is going to be different. There's podcasts that may only have 500 people on it. Okay, well, that's still getting your product and your service and your name and chatting with 500 highly targeted people for an hour. It may only have 1,000 people on it. It may have 50,000. I just did a show 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. 30 million people. Okay? I just did one for 30 million people worldwide. It's insane. I'm like, shoot, I'm a little nervous about this one. But guess what? The majority, they're recorded. Okay? Very rarely. No, I've done some that were live, but very rarely they're going to do it live. They're going to record you. It's just going to be you and the podcaster. That's it. on Zoom like this, on Skype, they have different platforms, just having a conversation. They're going to ask you a series of questions. Hey, tell me about your background. Yeah, so what do you do about this? So how about your company? So what advice would you give for this? What advice would you give for that? That's all it is. And they're just recording it. It's a simple conversation. No one's listening. And then they're going to take that recording. They're going to edit it. They're going to splice out any bad parts. They're going to put some music in it. They're going to build you up. Because what's going to happen once they give it to their audience, okay, once they record it, edit it, they'll put it live on their show, and they'll tell their audience, hey guys, this is live. We have Ryan on the show today. We have Dan, or let me see. We have Roderick. Okay, look, we have Roderick on the show today. All right. Roderick's going to tell us about this, and that, and this. So they're going to build you up. You're going to be the teacher in the room. You're going to be the expert, and they're going to make you look like a rock star. So, and it's easy to do. Once you learn the process, it's simple. And it's not easy, but it's simple, meaning there's various steps that you follow. You follow those steps, you're going to get results. As simple as that. You can even have, if you have a VA, you can have a VA do it for you. A VA can book it for you. So there's almost 1 million podcasts worldwide. There's about 1 million podcasts worldwide. So the sky's the limit. Imagine now if you got on 25 podcasts in the next 90 days. What can that do for your business? What can that do for your credibility? Now, every podcast is a different size. Let's just say one has 1,000 people, other one has 500, other one has 10,000 people. I don't know. Let's just say let's average it out to 1,000. Okay, 1,000 each. That's you getting your product and service in front of 25,000 people. I'm just making this up. 25,000 people in the next 90 days. They're going to take time out of their lives, listen to you for 30 minutes to an hour. You talk about your stuff, and then have the podcaster promote you at the end of their show. A lot of them are going to start following you, and a lot of them are going to start buying from you. Okay, what that would cost you in paid traffic would be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in order to get that. Okay, so you know how much this costs? 25 podcasts, 90 days, free. Doesn't cost you anything in marketing fees. Now, what happens after 90 days is done? Well, after you get booked on podcasts in 90 days, imagine if you did this for the remainder of the year. Imagine if you only got on 2 podcasts a week for 1 year. You know how crazy that is? That's 104 podcasts for the year. That's literally getting your product and probably in front of, I would say minimum 100,000 people into the millions. You get your price with this amount of podcasts. We're bringing out a lot of podcasts thinking pretty big. So having 100,000 people to 1 million people take time out of their day to listen to you, for you to teach them, for you to educate them, and they're watching you and listening and being amazed. And what would that do for your business if you did this for the next year? This right here, to pay someone to do this for you, to pay a PR company, a firm, in order to get you exposure in front of all these people, your credibility in front of all these people, and to get you booked on shows, that would easily cost you over 100 grand, easily, for you to get booked on 104 shows over the next 12 months. It's crazy, but there's a way to do it for free. You don't have to pay 100 grand to do it, and the results will be the exact same. You're going to have hundreds of thousands or even thousands of people that are coming to you asking for more information if you do this right. So what would that do for what would that do for your business? How much money could you make? The sky's the limit. You can just do this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And there's a reason why all the top dogs are currently doing this. So I hope you're blown away already. Now, for those who are interested, there's nothing to buy right now. Don't worry. Don't take out your credit card. There's nothing to buy. I'm not selling anything, but I do have an organic sales coaching program. I call it Organic Sales. Okay. Organic Sales Coaching Program. Okay. And the outcome of this coaching program is to get you booked on 25 podcasts in the next 90 days. Okay. That's the goal of this coaching program. Okay. And not just that, I don't just help you get booked on 25 podcasts in the next 90 days. I also help you set your foundation, okay, Set your foundation to do this over and over and over again, even above and beyond the next 90 days. Okay, so this is the immediate goal. 25 podcasts, 90 days, I'm gonna help you with. And this is after that, is now you have this strategy that you can duplicate and repeat over and over and over and over and over again, forever, for the next year, 2 or 3 years. All right. This will make you the expert, go-to authority. Okay, and you'll be highly respected in front of thousands of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in the next 90 days. And if you keep doing this over the next year, possibly even millions of people. Now, that's the outcome of it, okay? Now, there's 0 paid ads. 0 paid ads, nothing. Okay, I'm not gonna show you guys how to run ads. Nope, not gonna do it, all right? Excuse me, so how does it work? Well, there will be a training. There's a training portal. There's a membership area that I just took a beta group, and this organic sales coaching program, I just went through this with a small beta group, and they got results. They continue to get results. It's so exciting. I love it. I love seeing the results. And I refined it. I answered their questions. I gave them they need. I just make sure that whole program was solid, rock solid, and here we are now. So people already went through this, okay, and that works. They get results. And I took those trainings, and I have a training portal, okay, a training portal membership area, okay, where you get everything you need. It's all pre-recorded. You get, there's 5 modules, okay, that walks you through everything. Okay, this is like, you have module 1, module 2, module 3. Everyone has homework assignments. Everyone has checklists that you need to do. Everyone gets you to the next step. Every single one. From module 1 to module 5, you're going to be getting booked on lots of podcasts. And then I even have a bonus module with a Q&A that we did that to answer some additional questions. On top of the training, you're also going to get coaching. Okay, we will do weekly coaching calls for 90 days to help you with either one of 2 things. You can ask me anything about the content within the training. Maybe there's some training videos in the modules. If you have a question, ask me the question on these live training, on these live coaching calls. Or 2, about implementation. Maybe you're rock solid on that, but it's like, well, I need a question about how to implement it and do this or that, whatever it is. So it's a 90-day coaching program, organic sales. You'll get the outcome is getting you booked on 25 podcasts the next 90 days, showing you how to do it, repeat it forever and ever and ever, building your solid foundations. You can keep doing this same strategy forever without paying any more money and paid advertising. The training, I have a training portal with 6 modules with everything you need and checklists and PDFs, sequences. You can take my exact sequences, you copy and paste it, change, obviously apply it to you. You're good to go. And then coaching weekly to make sure you don't miss a beat, make sure you get all your questions answered on implementation or on content. I already did a beta group, and it's exciting. And I believe we might have, we do. Ed is on here. Ed actually went through this beta group. He was one of those who went through the beta group. Ed got lots of success, and he's on here right now being supportive, and I appreciate it so much. Ed, if you're here, would you mind unmuting yourself? And I want Ed just to come on and just say a few words. I'll ask him a couple of questions, and even the video, if you have your video too, that'd be great. So people can get to see you. And if not, that's fine. If not, the audio is fine as well. I see you. I can't hear you, but I see you. Let me see. I can't hear anything. I don't know. That's just me.
How about now?
I can hear you now. Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right. So we got Ed here. This is real. Ed's not a paid actor, you know. Ed, even though he looks like he can be a paid actor, he looks good. But Ed is a real student. Went through the beta program. I appreciate his time and being here today, being supportive. I appreciate it so much. But this is Ed. Ed, so you joined the program when I first did it, I don't know, a few months ago, and it was a condensed program than this. The same content, but we did it in 6 weeks instead of 3 months, instead of 90 days. So what made you want to join the program initially when you became part of the program? What inspired you to join it?
Well, the pitch was similar to the one that you did here, and I was sold right away. I was just waiting for you to tell us the price and how to sign up, and eventually you did. But I had done something similar to this. I had a publicist that was setting up interviews for me, and it worked really well. We were getting 1 to 2 interviews every single week. We wanted to kind of up the numbers a bit, but we just ran into this roadblock where we couldn't get any more interviews. And then although I knew that the method worked, we didn't have a really good structured plan like you have to get interviews. And really having the foundation set up the way you showed us to set it up makes all the difference in the world. I can easily get anywhere from 1 to 3 interviews every single week.
Yeah. I see that you've been doing that. It's been exciting. Ed in a Facebook group, and he's posting, like, I feel like it's like every other day or every few days. Oh, I was on this interview. Oh, I got booked on this interview. Oh, I'm on this interview. And it's just super exciting,
That's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. You've been doing these interviews left and right lately. And so what's one of the things that stands out to you the most, I guess, about the coaching program? What was one thing that you loved about it, or what would you say that be your all-star moment in it or something?
I would say the system that you put in place and the follow-up system. It does take time to put it together. And I think people need a little bit more time than 6 weeks to get it all put together, because there's a fair amount of work that needs to be done. But you do a lot of hand-holding. You answered every question I had. You made it as simple as you could possibly make it. And once you take the time to put the system into place, it's just a matter of flipping the switch, and the interview interview bookings just happen. I have a 5 email sequence that I send out, and you had said you want to do a follow-up sequence, and sometimes it's the very last email that you send out is the one that is the difference. And I've had that happen now, not once but twice, where it was the last email that I sent. And when we were doing this before, we were just sending one email out, maybe another follow-up, but we didn't have a sequence and we didn't have a good structure to do it. And you provide all of that.
Awesome. I love it. So great. And you've been getting on podcasts and stuff. And how is your experience being on the podcast? I know some people maybe don't like talk. You're fine, but just were some of the tools and information I have an actual segment in the program that helps you get prepared for podcasts, make you like a rock star. Was that helpful, preparing you to actually be more, just to feel better about getting on the podcast and presenting?
It really was. And I'm very comfortable just talking to people, but having that structure going into it gives you enough confidence that you do well, you perform well. I talk to some of the hosts ahead of time. I'll talk to them afterwards. And actually, I got 3 referrals from one host afterwards. One of them became a client. So it didn't even come from the audience. Even before the audience even heard the interview, I picked up a client.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah.
Wow. And for those who are listening to this live right now, or who are going to be watching this after the fact, for those who are watching this thinking, oh, well, I don't know if it's for me, or I don't know if I can actually do that, or I don't know if it actually works. They have doubts, or they're on the fence. What advice, you gone through it? Now, you went through a condensed 6 weeks. This will be a longer 90-day. So what advice would you give them about joining the program if they're undecided?
Well, I would do it. When you look at how much it costs to do lead generation, and as you were pointing out, the sales funnel, if one little thing is wrong, the whole thing collapses. And I wrote in the comments, you're exactly right. That's absolutely true. Yes. And with podcast interviews, you can mess up a lot. You can mess up in the interview. You can mess up in the emails that you send out. But if you're testing, you have time to fix all those things so that you can refine it, make it perfect. And then on the other end, when it comes to the lead generation component, which we didn't have when I first did this, your method for lead generation was brilliant. It's very easy to set up. It's easy to get leads in the door, and then it's kind of up to you once you're building your list to turn those leads or people, subscribers on your list to customers.
Yeah, great. All right. Okay, I appreciate that. I mean, again, Ed is a real student. He went through the beta program. You know, this is a real experience. Real story. I didn't send him a word for word script to tell him what to say before this. You know,
if I did, I screwed it up big time.
You know, Ed was kind enough to be on here today, and he said, "Yeah, I'll share a few words for those." You know, and he didn't even know what questions I was even going to ask. Again, Ed, I appreciate the time. Keep rocking it. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope that people watching this now or after the fact will be joining us in the Facebook group.
I certainly hope so. The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. Absolutely. Appreciate it, Ed.
Thanks.
And so for those of you guys who, again, there's nothing to sell right now. I'm not collecting any money. But for those who are interested in getting my help and helping you build out this organic sales coaching program for you and your company, schedule a call. So go to getorganicsales.com. Getorganicsales.com. Hopefully you can read that. Hopefully it's big enough. Getorganicsales.com. Okay, I hope that's a little bigger. Okay, and book a call today. We'll do a free 45-minute strategy call. You'll tell me about your business. Tell me what kind of service it is. I'll answer any questions you have. We'll evaluate your business and see if it's a good fit. See if we feel like we can help you implement the same strategy into your business. And if we can, then cool. Then we'll go over the pricing. We'll see if it makes sense, and we'll see if it's a good fit for both of us. If it's not, then no worries. But if you've gotten this far already, then I'm sure you're fairly interested. Nothing to buy today. Go to getorganicsales.com. Book a call with me and my team. Let's have a free chat, a free evaluation of your business, and we'll see if it makes sense. And that's that. I mean, I hope you guys got value out of this. I know you guys got value out of this. For those who actually take action, are going to see some major shifts in their business who actually do this. I thank you guys for being on here. For those who are watching this in the future, some of you guys have messaged me already, asked me for the recording. So I'm going to get the recording out for a few days. But again, super excited. And I hope there's a mind shift for you guys, an eye opener for you guys. I was so excited for today and just this big announcement and what this is. Again, go to getorganicsales.com, book a call today, find out more about this coaching program. I'll ask you a few questions. I'll give you some value about your business. Let's chat about it and see if it makes sense. And we'll go from there. But if not, then hopefully I'll see you guys on the call. I'll be chatting with you guys soon. Thanks for the time today.